Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Campbell. I'm the Director of the Office of Information Privacy here in the Department of Community Affairs with the state of New Jersey. And I believe that those who are attending today are or will become redactors within the Daniels Law system and the Office of Information Privacy portal and system that has been designed and set up and pushed out, if you will, to all of you. I want to thank you, first of all, for your service in this way. In the 2 years I've had this job, I've come to be more and more impressed by everyone involved in government, from the county, municipal, and state levels. Your dedication and commitment to what you do in the jurisdictions where you work has impressed me every day, and I thank you for all the work you do, and especially for taking on this extra role as a redactor to assist your agency in complying with the requirements of Daniels Law. I am as aware as anyone in the state as to how challenging that can be. So I thank you for accepting that role and carrying it out. For those of you who already are redactors and are kind of back for a refresher, or you've got some questions, or you just want to see how something works again, welcome. For those of you who are new or who are about to become redactors and want to know what you have to do either to register as a redactor, or you want to just clarify the whole workflow of what you do once you are approved as a redactor and you are receiving redaction requests, we're so glad that you are here. From our staff today at the OIP, I just want to tell the audience that Robert Ferrer, who is our regulatory officer, as well as Maureen Lennox, whom some of you may have spoken to on the phone. She's our administrative assistant. Roxana Rivera and Michelle Ryback from our staff are also here. And some of you may already have spoken to them if you've called the office. Some of you may speak to them in the near future. Our contact information, and I'll try to remember to repeat this at the end, is 609-815-3939. If you want to email us, you email oip@dca.nj.gov. And Maureen or Roxy or Michelle, maybe you could type that information in the chat at some point so that people will have it. That would be really helpful and very much appreciated. The purpose of this meeting today really is to have John Porter, who is a deputy director at CSI Technology Group and our direct link to CSI, which designed our portals and our system, show you and provide you either your initial instructions or a refresher on how to register as a redactor and how this redaction system works once you have done so. John has a wealth of information and a lot of experience in walking all of us through these systems. So we are very grateful for his participation and his availability today. And his presentation will take up really the majority of this hour. However, if you have questions as John is going through the demo or at the end, please type them in the chat or raise your hand at the end of the presentation. We will do our best to answer as many questions as we can before the hour expires. If you don't get heard, if we're not able to get to you, or if something comes to mind once the demo is done, you will have the contact information so that you can reach out to us. I can tell you that our staff makes itself available to do a refresher for you, to answer questions, to assist in your managing of your accounts as redactors. And we do our best to have a live person answer the phone when you call. If we don't, our lines are busy, but we will return your call as quickly as we can or respond to your email in as reasonable a time as we can. So with that said, I'm going to turn this over to John. I thank him for being here, and I thank all of you for taking the time to join in this today. John, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chris. Can you please let me know when you're seeing my screen?
We see it.
Great. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. As Chris mentioned, my name is John Porter. I'm with the CSI Technology Group, And we're going to cover, how to register as a redactor and use the system as a redactor. So the first thing you want to do if you need to register is you want to visit the site danielslawredact.nj.gov. And this is the URL or web page address right here. When you type that into your browser, it will direct you to this page, which is the web page for redactors. This is where this page is designed especially for you to register your account and also reach the system once your account is approved. If you now there's actually two sites for related to Daniel's Law. This is the one specific to redactors, but the initial site that was designed is danielslaw.nj. So this provides information about the law itself, as well as this is designed as the portal for the covered persons. This is where people register to receive the protections of Daniel's Law. So if you inadvertently go to this page, it's not a problem. You would simply click this button in the red box here to direct you to the site to register as a redactor. So this is the registration link from this page to register as a redactor. And if you click that button, it simply brings you directly to this page. So kind of hard to get lost, but this is where you want to be. If there is anything that you don't recall after today's training, if something you don't quite remember, as Chris said, they are recording the training today, so that will be made available to you. But there's also downloadable instructions on the page to walk you through the registration process as well, if you need those. These are always available to you here also. But when you're ready to register, visit this page and you are going to click on the register for a Daniel's Law redactor account button right here. And once you're registered, you'll be able to actually log into your account using this button. But we're going to start here to register for our Daniel's Law redactor account. And that's going to bring up the user agreement. So you must agree to the terms of using this application and registering as a redactor. So once you read through all those and agree to that, you simply mark the checkbox that you agree with the user agreement. And then the click to proceed with registration button will light up. You can click that, and that'll bring you to the page where you actually enter your information. Any field that on this page that is marked with the red asterisk, such as you see here with the first name and the last name, that means it's a required field. If you don't fill out those required fields at a minimum, you will not be able to submit your registration request or your account request. So at the very least, you have to complete the required fields. However, if we always recommend whenever you have the information available, even if it's not required, to provide it because it could be, help streamline the process with the Office of Information Privacy reviewing your account request and, approving that rather quickly. So this is the live site. So I'm going to just use some basic test information, but when you're doing this, for yourselves, certainly use your actual real information. But the first field is your first name. I'm just going to use this just as a test. And then your last name. Middle name, not required, but if you have it, or if you want to enter it, great. If you use a suffix, you can provide that as well, but it's not required. Your occupation or title. So here would be if you're a, deputy clerk, administrative assistant, whatever your title might be, you want to enter that here. Important to know here, if you can have multiple redactors for a single agency, as a backup filling for vacations, or maybe if you're just you have a large population and you need the extra assistance. It's important that you use, if you do share the same title in the same office, to enter this accurately, because it would impact how the accounts are linked in the future. Then it's your email address. So you can only use you can only use an email address once. So if that this way you can't create multiple Redactor accounts using the same email address. You can only use the email address once. So if you already, if you enter your email address and it tells you it gives you a message such as this, where you can see this email has already been used. Please try another. That means that this email address is already registered with another Redactor account. So, if you didn't know if you forgot that you created an account or didn't create an account, you'd want to contact the OIP to find out what the issue is here. But once you do, let's see. Okay, that one. Then you have to confirm your email address, just a confirmation that you entered the email address correctly, because a lot of the communication from the OIP and the automated notifications from the site itself are going to be via email, and they're going to be directed at this email address. So it's important that you enter that accurately. Your telephone number, and here with the telephone number, you can see this little question mark. This is a little help bubble. So anywhere in the application where you see these little question marks, that means there's extra information available at that particular data field to help explain exactly what's required here. So this is a number where you can be reached at rather easily, because this is the phone number that the OIP will use if they have any questions about your request for registration. So that's what this phone number field's for. Email. Next is your agency type. This next section is for your agency information. So there's 3 agency types: state, county, and municipal. So if you work for a municipal agency and you're registering as a municipal redactor, you want to list your agency as municipal. Same for county and same for state. If you choose municipal or county, you see there's nothing really changes. However, if you do work for a state agency and you're registering as a redactor for a state agency, you'll see if I select state, this division field opens up. So here is where you want to list your division for your particular state agency. And that's important for state level redactors. So just to let you know that will pop up if you register as a state redactor. But I'm just going to put county in here for now. Next would be your agency name. So this would be the name of your agency. So if you're working for the Middlesex County Clerk's Office, let's use that as an example. That would be the agency name. Then you would put in the agency address. If you need 2 address lines, there's a second address line here for you. So if if your office is located in in a suite, or you have some extension of that address, a building number, you can use the second line for that. Then you would want to choose the county where your agency is located. So that will be Middlesex, and then the municipality where your office is located. And I'm just going to choose, for purposes of this example, Edison. But it's important that you select the correct county and municipality, because that's how the system is going to know. That's how the system's going to direct the correct notifications to you for information that has to be redacted. So if you're registered as a county redactor, as in this example, I am going to be notified once my account is approved. I'm going to receive notifications for any requests that are approved for addresses that fall within Middlesex County. If I was registering as a municipal redactor, if I change this to municipal, I would receive all the notifications for the addresses that fall within, or that are within Edison Township. I'm not going to get everything in the county because I'm a municipal level redactor. I'm only going to get the notifications for the addresses that are located within Edison Township. So, theoretically, if you're a municipal redactor, you're going to receive fewer notifications than a county redactor, because, the county's getting the notifications for every address in the county as opposed to one municipality. So it's important to list this information accurately. And also, I made a slight error with the title up here when I mentioned that, if you share the same title, fill out your title. Where it matters is with your agency name. So it's important if you are redactors within the same agency to enter your agency name. This way, that's gonna matter when there's future notifications for redaction removal for somebody who wants to remove a redaction. This will by if you have the same agency type within the same municipality and county, and you have the same agency name, you will be able to update your partner's requests for redaction removal. And I'll show you that later in the presentation. But there's going to be a future update where you'll be able to choose from a pre-entered um, agency name. But that's still a couple weeks away. So for the time being, since this is a free text field, if you do work for the same agency, please try and enter that the same. This way, you'll be able to receive subsequent notifications for redactions that your partner confirmed. Zip code, self-explanatory. I'm not sure what the zip code is in Edison, so forgive me. I know it's wrong. And then your agency main telephone number. So, this is, again, up here at the top of the screen, the telephone number. This is the phone number where the OIP can contact you directly if they need to with questions about your registration, if there's any questions. The agency main telephone number, this is used to, help the OIP verify your agency. So, please enter the main number for your agency here. If your agency has a website, it's not required, but it's helpful to the OIP if you list your website here. It just helps them to confirm some information and speed up the process for reviewing your account request. So you can enter the URL information here. And then there's a field down here for comments or additional information. Where this is helpful, we've learned through this project that there are redactors that are given that responsibility for more than one jurisdiction, whether it be a county or a municipality, such as we've learned like construction inspectors. They might be, their primary employer might be Edison Township, but then they also subcontract. They also fulfill that obligation or fulfill that responsibility for other municipalities, whether it's in the same county or not. If you are in that position where you're going to be a redactor for more than one municipality or county, you can register as a redactor under one redactor account, you can receive notifications for all those other jurisdictions you cover if you're responsible for redacting those records. And in order to do that, you would need to indicate that here in this field. That's a good use for this field to indicate, hey, I'm a building inspector in Edison Township, but I also do building inspections for New Brunswick and Middlesex Borough. And the OIP staff will be able to, if your account request is approved, they will be able to add those additional jurisdictions to your account, so you don't have to create a separate account for each municipality, which was the part of the original design. But we were able to fix that so you don't have to have multiple email addresses and all that kind of stuff. So that's a good use for this field. Next, the verification code is simply you're just verifying the text or the characters that are entered in this gray field here on the right. So you would just confirm those to let the system know that you're not a robot. And then there's two certifications down here. You can see right now my submit for registration button is not activated. That's because I have to acknowledge both certifications here. So after you read through those, to confirm those and acknowledge that you accept those terms, you simply check off both check boxes, and you see that now my submit registration button has been activated. You can also see that there's a little help bubble for each one of these. If you're not sure exactly what these buttons do, that little help bubble will explain to you. But once you get to this point, if all the information you've entered here is correct and you're ready to submit it, click the submit registration button. And what did I miss? Okay, see, that didn't go through because I entered the verification code incorrectly. That's because, well, I misread that. So this one is TFUQT. I think that's right. I got to re-acknowledge the certifications. My button's been activated again. Now I can press the button, and it went through. And I know it went through because now I've been directed to My New Jersey. So when you register as a redactor, you must register your redactor account with your My New Jersey account. And for those of you that aren't familiar with the term My New Jersey, your My New Jersey account is also synonymous with your MBOSS account, which if you're, a government employee in New Jersey, whether it's municipal, county, or state, you're most likely have a pension account through the state. And your MBOSS account is what you use to access your pension information. So, and your MBOSS account is technically a My New Jersey account. So, that's why this is a state requirement that you have to link to your My New Jersey account. But they make it real easy for you. So once you submit your registration, the way to link it to your My New Jersey account is right here on this next page. So the question that they ask you is if you have an existing My New Jersey login ID. And again, this is if you don't refer to it, if you're not familiar with the terminology for your My New Jersey account, you may more easily recognize it if you refer to it as your MBOSS account. So if you already have a My New Jersey account, simply click the yes, and you can enter your login information for your current account, and link your redactor account request with your My New Jersey account. If you don't have a My New Jersey account, that's okay too. You can create a My New Jersey account right from this page. All you have to do is click no, and it gives you all the fields that are required to create a My New Jersey account. So you can do both from here. I don't want to do that because this is the live site. I already have a My New Jersey account, so I can't complete this part of the process. But once you do, whether you're logging in to your existing account or if you have to create an account, once you do that, it'll, you know, send your information to the OIP and they will review your information. And how that's going to look is once you complete this part of the process, you're going to get an email at the email address you entered in your account request, just letting you know, confirming that you've, submitted your request to the Office of Information Privacy for a redactor account, and that they are going to, review your information and basically follow up with you shortly. So this is this after you link to your My New Jersey account. This is what will display after you enter that My New Jersey account information. You will also receive an email address asking you to confirm that you can receive emails at the email address you entered in your request. If you don't confirm your email address, the system will think that it's not a verified email account, so they can't send any notifications to it. So the OIP won't be able to approve your account until you verify your email address. So you usually, depending, on the traffic on the site, you'll receive this notification asking you to confirm your email address within about most likely 30 minutes of you submitting submitting your registration request and linking to a My New Jersey account. But all you have to do is click on this link that's in the email notification to verify your email address. Very easy. Once you do that, and the OIP is going to review your information. They're going to they're going to confirm your information, that you work for the agency you say you work for, and all that stuff. You're going to get this email notification indicating or reflecting that your request for a redactor account has been approved. And this is letting you know that you now have an active redactor account, and you can go into the portal now to, fulfill your duties and responsibilities as a redactor for your agency. This link will bring you back to the Daniels Law Redact.nj. However, you don't have to go there you're certainly more than welcome to, but anytime that there is a record ready for your to be redacted that falls within your jurisdiction, you're going to get a separate email notification indicating same. And that email notification is going to look like this. It's a generic, just a generic, simple notification letting you know that there is a redaction request from a covered person whose residence information may be posted on a website that is under and this says state agency because this is an example for a state redactor account. But if you register as a municipal redactor, it's going to say, municipal agency control. So it's just a notification that basically a new request for redaction has been approved by the OIP, and that address falls within your jurisdiction, whether it be municipal, county, or state, and to log into the portal to address that approved request. And we're going to show you how to do that next. Additionally, when the OIP does approve your request for a redactor account, your My New Jersey account is going to have the redactor Daniel's Law redactor role added to your account, and that looks like this. That's what this. Whoop, sorry, clicking like crazy. This Daniel's Law redactor role. This is what will automatically be added to your account once the OIP approves your registration request. These other roles, this is the role for covered persons. This is the role for actually admin users of the site, who is generally OIP staff. But for redactors, this is what you'll see. So when you do get one of those subsequent notifications saying to log in because there's a new approved request for you to address, you could do one of two things. You can uh, You can return to the portal site and click into log into your account through this button. Or if you want, you can go directly to My New Jersey, log into your My New Jersey account, and it's going to, and just click on this role, and that will lead you into the site as well. So that's how that works. That's how you actually be able to log into the admin site. And once you do have access to what we refer to as the admin site, that's where you're going to conduct your business for reviewing these redaction requests and confirming them. It's going to look like this. Now, I'm currently using a state redactor account. That's why it says state here. But if you're a municipal redactor, it's going to reflect municipal here. If you're a county redactor, it would reflect county here. However, whether you're municipal, county, or state redactor, the process is the exact same. There's no difference. It's just a difference in the amount of redaction requests you're going to receive. So this is the admin site, and I'm going to be switching between, this is the live site. So this is what, if you were able to log in today, this is exactly what you're going to see. But I'm going to switch to our test site as well because I don't want to play with live data since this is the live site, but I wanted to show you exactly what it looks like. But when I switch over to our test site, I'll let you know, and we're going to actually, go through the workflow there. But let me just cover explain what you're seeing on the screen here. So up here in the upper right-hand corner, this is going to reflect the name that's on your account. So this is a test account we use for training and testing and stuff. So that's why it's reading state redactor, because it reflects a state redactor's account. But if your name was John Smith, this is going to say John Smith up here. And you can see that, the cursor turns into a little hand. That's because there's some links here for your profile. So if you ever need to update your information, you can come here and, you can just update your phone number in case you ever have a new contact number. If your email address change, you have to go through the OIP for that, because this is linked to your redactor account, and there's a My New Jersey link. So that's why you can't update it. But if your email address change, just reach out to the OIP and they'll help you take care of that. Next is we call this, where it's currently reading Daniel's Law. This is a module navigator. You only have one option here. You can't go beyond this page, so there's really no reason to use that. There's only one option, and it defaults to it. Next is your function tree. So you can see there's 3 sections in the function tree. There's favorite, main, and search. So if I click on favorite, there's currently nothing under that menu because nothing has been saved as a favorite function. And this is, it's more helpful when you have a range, when a larger menu here. But you can see there's only 2 functions listed in the main menu. But the purpose of the favorite menu is, whenever you either log into the system or return to the home page here, it will always default open to the favorite menu. So if there's a function, when you go to this site, if there's a function that you use 90% of the time, and that function is in the search menu, instead of, having to open the search menu and click on the function here, you can save yourself a few clicks and save it as a favorite. So it's always at the top of the list, to save you a click or two. And the way to do that is to simply check, basically highlight the star next to the function that you want to add to your favorites menu. So if I was using the My Redaction search 90% of the time, I could just click that star and it's going to then add it to my favorites menu. This way, whenever I return, so if I go to this menu and I return to the home page, now since I have a function saved in my favorites menu, it'll time. This way you don't have to go hunting through the menus, but there's not a whole lot of functions here, so you might not need to do that. But as time goes on and additional functionality is added to this site, you might see that menu grow, and that might be helpful in the future. So I just wanted to explain it. But in addition to that, the two menus, so in the main menu, you have two functions here to restore removed redactions and also access your list of search assisted websites, which we will touch on later in the presentation. And then your search menu is basically for the search functions within the application. And you have two separate redaction searches. I'll show you how to use both. And then a search assistant query search. And again, these apply later during the presentation, but we'll cover them all. Next, in the inbox summary, these are what we refer to as inboxes. These are where records will land for your review and confirmation. Some of you may be more familiar with the term work basket. Same type of, concept where, tasks and records that are, submitted for your review land in these inboxes or work baskets. And I'm going to explain briefly what each one does. So this first one, this redaction section where it says redaction state, these are the inboxes that are going to manage the workflow of requests that the OIP receives from covered or authorized persons requesting the protections of Daniel's Law. Once the OIP reviews that record and approves it, the system will, if that covered person's address is within your jurisdiction, the system will automatically forward that approved request to your approved request pending redaction inbox for you to review and then subsequently, check your websites to see if the information is posted and then confirm whether or not it was redacted. So this is the first place it's going to land. When the record lands in this first inbox, that's when you get that automated notification, this email notification that there's a record, an approved record ready for your review. And every, depending on the size of your municipality or county, you could receive multiple requests in a day, maybe just, a few a week. But as long as you have at least one record in this pending redaction inbox, this notification is going to be sent on a daily basis. So even though let's just say, you have, the OIP approves 20 requests for in your county redactor, so you're going to receive all 20 requests, that day. And let's just say, you're either off that day, you got something else going on, you can't get into the inbox right away. Well, those 20 records may have posted today, and you're going to get that notification. But if those 20 records are in your inbox, are still in this inbox tomorrow, even though nothing new has posted to the inbox, you're still going to get this notification because it's just a constant reminder that you have records that you haven't reviewed in this inbox yet. So, even if you go into the inbox and you say, wait, I got that notification, but it's still the same record from yesterday. It's nothing new. Well, it's because you still have a record that's pending in here. So that explains why you might receive the notification, even if no new records have posted. So once you collect the records from this inbox, you have to move them from here. And then once you move them, they go to the pending confirmation inbox. And this is where you actually go to confirm whether or not you redacted any records from your websites. The third inbox, this is for requests that there's a return function in the system. So if you get, you're going to get notified that, hey, this covered person lives at this address and, they want to be redacted from your system. Well, upon examining that record, if you see something that's, and we see this I mean, the OIP can tell you how often it happens, but I've been part of conversations where, you have, even though it might be Edison Township, there's a community within Edison Township that's not called Edison, but it's a part of the mailing address. Well, and that community can actually be within, you know, three separate cover three separate jurisdictions. So physically the address isn't located in your jurisdiction, but you got the notification because the covered person, entered the municipality incorrectly. So that would be an example of why you might want to return a request to the OIP, and you can say, hey, wait, this address isn't in my town, please review this. And I'll show you how that function works too. But anytime you return a request to the OIP, it's going to land in this inbox, or it's going to move over to this inbox. Um, to just let you know, okay, you've sent a request to the OIP, you've returned a request to the OIP, and you're waiting for a response. The next inbox section is related to the search assistant. For those of you that don't know what the search assistant is, this was developed within the past late 2023. It came online, and what it is, it's an automated function that will search any website you enter for approved covered person's request information. So if you're, most, government agencies, have a website now, whether or not, names and addresses of your residents are posted to that site is, your site may or may not do that. But if you do, if you are responsible for a website that does post your citizens' data, the search assistant could be a great help to you. So you could enter that site to the search assistant, and if it can be programmed to search your site, and it's dependent on the search function that you have available on your website, um, the search assistant will periodically search that site for any of those names and addresses that fall within your jurisdiction, that those approved records that have been sent to you, to let you know if that information is on your website. Either, maybe it's it was missed during the initial review once you got the initial notification, or maybe since that original redaction request was submitted and it was removed, maybe somebody added it back to the website. But the search system will continue to look for that information, and we'll discuss that in greater detail later. But I just wanted to cover the inboxes. But the inbox workflow is the same as I explained up here. So, if you add a website to the search assistant and it finds a record, or if it thinks it finds a record that matches the covered person's information, you're going to get a notification in this first pending redaction inbox. And the idea is you're going to, review the record, move it over to your pending confirmation inbox. And then from there, you're going to confirm whether or not, it was an accurate hit or not. And we'll discuss that later. And then you have the public bulletin board section. The OIP uses this section to post information that they think will be of value to you, or will assist you. So you can see there's two posts currently in this section. One is the instructions for how to use the return function. So this request return to OIP, this is a downloadable PDF that explains how that process works. So again, if going forward, you might not need to use that return function for 6 months from now. Well, if you forget what I tell you, these instructions are always available to you right here. And there's also instructions here for revoking a Danish law request, how to remove a redaction. So there's instructions for that as well. But, anytime you log in, I recommend, taking a glance at this section just to see if anything new's been posted. Because it most likely will be valuable to you. And then here's an office news and memo section. This is where the OIP posts their contact information. So if you need to contact them for any reason, they make themselves available via email or phone. And they seem to be one of the few state agencies now that actually have a live person answering the phone. So it's nice to call and actually have you'll get one of those nice friendly OIP staff answering your phone call directly there. So very helpful people. So going over this, now I'm going to move over to our test site to actually show you how this works in real time. So this is the same thing, but this is a test site. You can see now that there's, anytime you have an inbox and you have this orange box with a number in it, that reflects how many records are in that inbox. So if I'm looking at this approve request pending redaction inbox with the number 16, that means there's 16 records or 16 approved requests that are posted to this inbox. Same for the pending confirmation inbox. There's 5 records in this one, and I've returned 2 requests to the OIP, and that's what this inbox is for. So let's say you get your email notification that there's a new record ready for your review. You would, you know, after reading this email, uh, go to the log into the admin site, and you're going to land here. Oh, that's the live site. You're going to land here. And this is where your records are initially going to land, the approved request pending redaction inbox. So all you have to do is click in there. It's going to open up the inbox, and this site runs it's on a different server, so it runs just slightly slower. And here you can see that there's a range of information in this inbox. So the request number, this is DL, stands for Daniel's Law. This request number is automatically assigned to the request by the system, just as a way of referencing it in the database, and giving and assigning it a number, for reference purposes. So if you happen to have to refer to a record with the OIP in the future, they may ask you for the request number. And this is what they're referring to. It's simply DL, stands for Daniel's Law. 22 in this example, this is the 2-digit year. So this is a record that was originally created in 2022. And then this is just a 4-digit sequential number. So this was the 78th request that was submitted in 2022. You're going to get the covered or authorized person's first name, middle name, last name, suffix if they use it. This revoked column lists if it's a revoked request. What a revoked request is, and this is in the near future, this is going to be revoked is going to be updated to removed. So I'm going to call it revoked for now, just because that's what you're seeing on the screen. But what revoked means, it means that a covered person submitted a request to have their information redacted. It was subsequently redacted and confirmed as redacted by a redactor. And then the covered person chose, made a decision that they don't want to be protected by Daniel's Law anymore. So they want to revoke their request for Daniel's Law protection. And when they do that, the OIP reviews that request. And then once they approve it, you're going to get a notification that, hey, this was a covered person that was previously redacted in your system, and now they want those redactions removed. So, there's no reason for them to be redacted, and you're going to get this notification to, go back to the website and remove those redactions. Revoked requests will always reflect revoked in the revoked column, and they will always be listed in red, because the OIP wants you to be aware that this is somebody that was previously redacted, but now they don't want to be redacted anymore. So they want you to be, it's important to address all these requests in a timely manner. But since revoked requests aren't as common, they want you to be aware as soon as possible. That's why it's displayed in this manner. Other names used. So where the other names used comes into play is if the covered person is married. Their other name used could be their maiden name, so they could have records in your sites that are listed under that other name used. So that's why this information is provided to you. Here's the covered person's date of birth. This is the address. If they have a building or apartment number, it's going to be listed here in the building apartment number field. City, zip code, the municipality, and the county. So this is, the city field here. This is a free type section when the person types in their address, 123 Main Street in Camden. The municipality and county fields, these are dedicated support files, which means they have to choose from an existing option. They can't just type in whatever they want. So that's where you sometimes get the errors in, somebody thinks that their address is technically in Camden, but it's really, in Pennsauken. So they might list the municipality as Kansas City when they made a mistake and should have put Pennsauken here. And that could be, again, a reason why you would return the request. Block and lot number is provided to you, as well as a qualification code if it applies to the property. This is the type of residence. The covered persons can either choose between a primary or a secondary residence. That are the only residence types, and they can only have one of each. A covered person can never have more, at least in their request here. They can't have more than one secondary address or one primary address. This is whether they own or rent the property that they listed here. This is the year that they started residing at that residence. And, this is a lot of these fields are empty because this is test data. When you see this in the live site, all these, a majority of these fields are going to be populated for you. So don't get confused by that, or please don't be confused by that. Whether this is their current residence or not, and I believe we removed this, but they're still here for the test data. Wait, that might still be in there. And whether they're or not they're the title holder of record for that address. This is a yes. The multiple dwelling, this is if the person that's listed here has an interest in a multiple dwelling unit, such as an apartment building or something like that. So, those redactors where this information is applicable, you know who you are. But most of you won't have any needs to concern yourself with this, but this is a yes, no question. And the approved date is the date that the request was approved by the OIP. And subsequently posted to your inbox, but this is the date the record was approved by the OIP. This is when they updated the request. Now you can see here that the approved date doesn't necessarily reflect the year the request was created. That's because once a covered person submits their request, they have the option to update it as well. So if when they initially submitted their request, they lived in Camden, but they've since moved to Cherry Hill, they can update their request and add that new address. So that's why you might see an approved date that doesn't necessarily match the year that the request was filed, because they are allowed to update their requests. So the idea here is you have all these requests. We have 16 approved requests that fall within our jurisdiction, and we now need to take this information and see if it's posted to any of our agencies' websites. So what you need to do here is you need to now you need to collect this information, move it to the pending confirmation inbox, and then go and research your websites and confirm whether or not any of this information is posted. Once you do that, you return to the system and then go to that second inbox to indicate whether or not you had to redact any records. So there's a couple ways you can copy this information. You can simply highlight, and do a copy and paste to a word processing document such as Microsoft Word. You can export this in a spreadsheet by clicking the Excel icon. If you click this Excel icon, what it does is it creates an Excel file. I'm just going to open on my other screen, so I'm going to have to drag it over. It's going to create an Excel file of all the records that are in the inbox. This way, it creates it for you. You can now save this, and then, either yourself or if you assign it to somebody to check the website, you have the information to do that, and you have a spreadsheet, so you don't have to either write it down or do a copy and paste. It'll create a spreadsheet for you. That's what that function does. And then it's the same thing with the Adobe Acrobat button. This will create a PDF document of the records that are displayed on the page. So once you copy that information, you have to move them to the next inbox. The way to move these records to the inbox is to simply check off the checkbox for to move over. And then at the bottom of the screen, there's a move to pending confirmation inbox button. That will take the records you selected. And again, if I was doing this, I would, copy all this information. So all 16 records, and I would move them over to my pending confirmation inbox, log out, check my websites as soon as I can. And then once I confirm, that information on the website, I'm going to log back in here, return to my Redactor account, and confirm the records. I'm only going to move 3 today because this is our test site. I don't want to move them all. So I'm just going to choose 3 just for demonstration purposes. So I have 3 checked off, and I'm going to move them over to our pending confirmation inbox. So now what was originally 16 records is now 13 because I moved 3 of them over. So now when I go back to my home page, now where I originally had 5 records in my pending confirmation inbox, since I just moved 3, that number is increased by 3 and now it reflects 8. So let's just say, okay, downloaded my Excel file. I move the records over to my pending confirmation inbox. I log out. I go. I check the site. I check our websites, and I come back, and now I'm ready to confirm what I did with this information. So I'm going to log back in. Now I'm going to go to the record redactions pending confirmation inbox, and here's those records. So you can see that I'm defaulting my sort by request number. So I know the 3 records that we moved over, none of them were revoked, but it's because I'm sorting by request number. I already had 5 records in here. So for those of you with the eagle eyes, that's why this revoked one is third in line, because this was already in the inbox, but I'm sorting by request number. But any one of these boxes or any one of these columns that have this gray box in it, that means you can sort by that column. So if you wanted to sort this by last name as opposed to request number, you can simply sort by last name instead by clicking that little box, and you can do it by in ascending or descending order, whatever your pleasure. So that's what that little button does. But anyway, back to work. So now what you do here is in the first inbox, nothing was hyperlinked. It was simply a record that you had to move here. But now we have 2 hyperlinks here. The first one is the request number, and the second one is the return function. So for the return record function, this is how you can return a record. You would simply click this return link. And again, this is if, you need to return it to the OIP because there's questions or concerns. You would simply click the return link. It opens up a little note field where you can, ask report the issue to the OIP. This is just very generic. You certainly want to provide more detail than that, but this is just, example of how to do it. And then once you do that, so you can see I currently have 8 records in the inbox. As soon as I save this note, now that record's been removed because I returned it. So there's nothing for me to confirm. So now I only have 7 records. And then I'll show you how to confirm that they responded to you in a minute. So that's how the return function works. Now, if I'm ready to, let's just take this let's take this bottom one, for example, because I don't want to do a revoked request yet. This record, let's just say this particular covered person's information, if I'm ready to confirm this record because I went back, I checked the website, now I'm returning here. To confirm this record, you simply click on the request number hyperlink. It's going to bring you to this redactions page. And this is where you can confirm your redaction. So you can see there's some existing records here. You will see records that are I'm in as a you're going to see all the redactions that have been made by this other users at your level. So if you're a state level redactor, you're going to see any redactions a state level redactor did. If you're a municipal redactor, you're going to see if you have other municipal redactors in your system, or if you're replacing them, the prior redactor, you're going to see their redaction records or their confirmation records in the system too. But for this particular gentleman, it was this one. So now we want to confirm this redaction. What you would do is when you get to this page, now this add update redactions is now a link. This opens up the window here to confirm whether or not this person's information was found on your website. So if there was no record found on the website, you would simply list no in this found redaction record field, and you would enter the date that the website was reviewed. You would then list the name of the person that reviewed the website and the exact website that was reviewed, whether, whatever you refer to that website as, such as if it's your voter registration website or your registered voters website, something to that extent. You would just put the name of the website, because once you enter this information, it's going to be forwarded to the covered person, letting them know that, their request was checked and whether or not you found any information for them on your website, and it's going to confirm whether you had to redact anything or not. So that's an example if you found, if their name or address isn't listed on your website. If it is, under found redaction record, you would select yes, we found a record, and if you found that record, you have to redact it. So then, if you indicate yes here, now you have to reflect the date that you redacted that information from the website. So let's just say I did that today, and then the same thing, the name of the redactor or the name of the person that redacted the record from the website, and the website that it was redacted from. If there is, depending on how many websites you manage or responsible for updating, you can have multiple for the same person. So you can add as many confirmations as you need to by clicking this plus button, and you can add another record here if it applies. If there's, we've already entered information for two websites, but let's just say, you manage three. You manage the registered voter website, you manage this website, and then there's a third website for the planning board or something. You can do all those at once. You can enter all those here if it's for the same person, and the same applies whether or not you found a redaction record, the date that it would either redaction occurred or the redaction was done, or the date the site was checked, who redacted or checked the website, and then what website was it. And then there's also redaction note here. So you can make a note for yourself or the OIP. You'll be able to review these notes in the future. So you can use this note field. If there's anything special you want to note about this particular confirmation record, you can do that here. If you added this by mistake, simply click that minus button. It gets rid of that third record. And when you're all done, just click save. And once you click save, again, those confirmations you just confirmed will be sent to the covered person, just letting them know that somebody, checked the information against their websites and whether or not they had to remove it or redact anything. This batch add redactions function. So in a record, if you have a Daniel's Law request, and you can see this is all the same request number, and they're different family members. So covered person, not only is the covered person can be protected by Daniel's Law, but also any immediate family members that reside with them. So if this is, a covered person with a spouse and two children, if they list all three of those, if they list their spouse and their two children in their request to be protected by Daniel's Law, they would all be listed here. Now, depending on the age of the children, they may or may not, be eligible to even post it on any websites. But if they were, and you checked all those records on the same date and time, you can, instead of going into each one individually and having to confirm the redaction, if the same information applies to all the people in the request, you can use this batch add redaction. Oh, we have to check off which ones we want to apply the batch redaction to. Click the batch add redaction, and the same information you enter here in this window will be applied to all four. So you can update them all at once and, save you a few clicks. So that's what the batch function does. And then once you confirm that record, it will automatically be removed from the inbox. And you can go, and that's been addressed. That's been taken care of. If you need to refer to it in the future, there's a search function. So if you need to, review that record 2 weeks from now, you can simply go to the search menu, and you got redaction searches. So the my redaction search, this searches for any redaction records that you entered. So specifically redactions that you did or confirmations that you did. If it was done by, a colleague in the same agency and you have access to the same records, you would have to search for their records using the redaction search. And both searches, the search parameters are somewhat the same. You can search it by the request number, last name, first name, combination thereof, address, block and lot, anything you want to do, or you can simply click go, leave all that blank, and it'll bring up all the records you ever, confirm, any redactions you confirmed in the past. And that's what all this information is. And that's if you need to, again, access the record again in the future. The redaction search, you can see it's like the same screen, same fields. So if you need to search for your partner's redactions. And you can only search, you can't, if you're a municipal redactor, you can't search for state redactions. You can only search for municipal redactions. Same with county, same with state. Real quick, because I know we're over time, the request returned to OIP. Remember, we returned that one request in example that was moved over here. So, where's my note? That was. So here's the record right here. The one today's July 18th. This is the record that I returned. If I want to see the note that I added, here's the note that I added in that previous inbox. Once the OIP responds, that note will be added to that list. So when they respond, all you have to do is click the add view note, and you're going to see their response listed here. And they're going to give you instructions on what to do. Whether that means they updated the record themselves, or they confirmed that whatever issue where you reported isn't a problem. They're going to respond to you here, and you have the option here to add another note. If you need further details about it, you can respond to them again. However, if they answered your question and everything's good and okay, yeah, no, I gotta now confirm this redaction, mark this, check off this particular request, and you can move it back to your pending confirmation inbox. And now that record's gone, it's been moved back to your pending confirmation inbox, and you can do the redaction confirmation that we just showed you. When it's listed here in red, this would be their response to you. So when they, once the OIP responds to you, the post-it date field, this is going to be displayed in red to let you know that they responded. So you can see here, this is their response, but it's displayed there in red to let you know that they responded. Because depending on the length of the note, the reason why the note isn't displayed directly is because it could be a lengthy note. So the way to know if you got a response is if the posted date and username is in red. That's how you know they responded. So that's how you do the redaction review and confirmation process. Chris, I know we're at the end of our hour. We've already, I'm a long talker, and I apologize for that. So I don't think we have enough time to go through the search assistant. That was a separate training too, and those I know I think you recorded that, and I pointed out where those instructions are on the live site as well. But do you want me to keep going, or do you want to address some questions at this point, since we're a little over time now?
John, I'm stepping in for Chris. She had to step away for another meeting. So I think we can spend a couple of minutes more if you just want to give it a 30,000-foot level would be okay.
Okay. So let's go over the search assistant real briefly so I can show you how that works. So I'm going to move over to the live site for this because we actually have results here. So if you want to add your site to the search assistant list, the way to do that is to simply go to the My Search Assistant websites. That'll open up this list. If you're a new redactor, most likely, you're going to have no record found here because you didn't enter a site yet. And if you have, and just as an example, if you're in an agency and you're one of 3 redactors for that agency, if all 3 redactors need to see the results of the search assistant searches, you each have to enter that website under your own account. Just because the first redactor adds the website to their account doesn't automatically add it to the other redactor's account. These are individual accounts. So if you're all monitoring the same website, all 3 redactors would have to enter that website. But it's real easy to do. Simply go to this page, click the add button. I got a document here. Okay, so 2 parts you have to fill out here. One is the basic website information, and the other one is the specified search page information. So you can see that there's a couple of required fields here. First one is category, whether it's a government website or a non-government website. if it's your agency's website, you guys pay for it, you guys manage it, it's a government website. If it's a non-government website, but you still want to monitor it because records are somehow posted to it, you can do that, but I'm sure 9 times out of 10, you're just going to be entering government websites. But this categorization is in there for research purposes. So just, choose the correct category. Next is the website name. What do you call this website? Is it, whatever? And this is more for you than the OIP, because as that the search results get longer and longer, especially if you have more than one website, you would want to enter the correct website name so you can identify exactly where that record came from or where that record's posted to, so you can get to it and redact it. So I'm just using, an example housing inspection website. The URL is the website address. So this is the URL for the home page of that website. So using this as an example, this is the housing inspection website. This is the home page for the website. The easiest way to do this, instead of typing it out, the easiest thing to do is just navigate to the page directly. This is the home page, and just, highlight and copy that address and paste it in here so you don't get it wrong. That's the easy way to do it. But that's the website's basic information. This is basically the home page information. If there's a note you want to make about this particular web page, feel free to make it here. But anything you enter here is also accessible by the OIP. So just be aware of that, but you can enter a note for yourself or for them. Next is the search page information. So to show you exactly what this means is, this is the home page. There is no search function on this home page. I have to go couple pages in. I have to click here, and then I have to click here. This is the search page because this is where the search function resides. So this isn't the same as the home page. So now for that second part, where it's asking for the specified search page information, first I would give it a name, and this would be I would just name this personally the housing inspection search page, and then I would have to enter the URL for that page. Way to do that, again, simply navigate to the page, highlight and copy that address, and post it directly into your record. And this way you make no mistakes. You just can paste it right in there. If there's a note here, enter that. What you may want to note is, the search assistant is capable of using a variety of searches, but what it does is it replicates a human being visiting your web page and being able to search your site. So if there's no search function, if your website is just an informational website and there is no actual search function, something a human can type into to search for information, the search assistant won't be able to search it. But if your website does have a search field, a search function, what'll happen is once you enter that website, our engineers will check it and they'll see if they can be programmed to search your site. And the information that's used to search your site is the name and address information that the covered person provides. So if your website doesn't post name and address information for people, it can't search for it if it doesn't exist. So just keep that in mind. But if you're in doubt about any of that, it's easiest just to add your site. And if there's any problems programming that, we will follow up with you via email to let you know, hey, if there's a problem, or we've had other redactors that provided URL information that isn't the search page, or it's a page with multiple search options, and and it's like, hey, which search function were you looking to utilize? Things like that. If there's any problem programming the search system for your page, we will follow up with you. We will contact you via email to explain the issue and attempt to resolve it. But once you do enter that information, and if there's more than one website you want to enter, if there's more than one search function for this particular, again, This is the homepage information. If this website has more than one search function, you can add another search page here too, if it applies. Now that doesn't happen a whole lot, but it can. Click save. That website has been added to the list. If you want if you want the search assistant to search another site, click that add button again, and you can add as many sites as you want. There's really no limitation, but I can't imagine, there's too many sites you have to monitor or that you can actually, redact. But you can add more than one, certainly. Once you add that information, and once it has been programmed to be searched, you're going to get search results. Is there anything here? Yes. So you can see here, my search results pending redaction. I have 7 records. And it's the same concept. So you're going to get, when you get a search result, this is what it's going to look like. The search date, this is the date that the search assistant searched that site. This is the request record that the Daniels Law request that it searched for, and it was searching for this name with this address information. Now, depending on, what the search capabilities on your website are, it might depend whether we search by block and lot or address. It's all got to be reviewed by the engineers to see what's, how it can best work for your site. So, again, this is the information from the Daniels Law request. For this particular website, it's searched by address. So it's telling you what it's searched for. This is that website name that was entered by the person that, initially listed the site. This is the URL of the search page. The snapshot, this is a hyperlink. That snapshot provides a snapshot of the information that the site that yielded the search result on the site. So this is the information that the website spit out when the search was conducted. And that's why the search assistant thinks it's a match to that Daniels Law record, but it's up to you to review this information and confirm whether or not it's accurate. So that's what the snapshot is. The search ID, this is the search ID in the category. This is mainly for us. If there's an issue, we may ask you for this, but that should be rare, if at all. So you don't really have to concern yourself about those 2 columns. Same concept as the Daniels Law request. Once you get this search result, you have to, move it. You have to, collect the information, move it over to your pending confirmation inbox, which I'm going to do now. And then, go out, check the site, and see if that information is in fact the covered person's information that needs to be redacted. And once that's done, you're going to return to the site, access the record in your pending confirmation inbox in the search assistant section. Here's the record I just moved over, and you can see that, the confirmed date. This is the date that I moved it over to the inbox, over to this inbox. That's what this date and time is. And this opens up the window for you to confirm the record. And the website data status is simply whether or not anything was redacted from the website. Did you redact something? Then you would choose redacted. If you didn't have to redact anything, you would choose not redacted. But if it was redacted, then you have to enter search result accuracy, whether it was accurate or inaccurate. I would say 9 times out of 10, if you redacted the information, it was an accurate search result. However, depending on how, the information is organized in your site, maybe part of it was inaccurate. So you would want to, if you do list that the search result was inaccurate, please explain why in the status note field, because anything that's inaccurate is going to be reported to our engineering team so they can examine it to see why the search assistant provided an inaccurate search result. So again, anytime, if any search result is inaccurate, please explain why it was inaccurate so we can try and address that so it doesn't happen again. We want the search assistant to provide accurate search results. And again, if it was redacted, who redacted the data from the website. So this would be the name of the person. And then the date that information was redacted from the website, because you have to confirm that, because of information that the covered person was approved to have removed or redacted for that. I'm not going to save this because this is the live site, but if you were to save this, if you were to save this record, it would automatically remove this record from the inbox because you confirmed it, and then it'll move it over to the 30-day inbox. But if this was something that, if nothing was redacted, most likely it wasn't redacted because it was an inaccurate record because the information the search assistant found, maybe maybe it was a person with a very similar name or something. Again, it depends on how the search capabilities of your website. But why wasn't an inaccurate search result? Was there, that you didn't find the data on the website at all. You don't the no permission. This reason field as more redactors start using this functionality and providing us with information as to why search results are inaccurate, this will be updated to be more reflective of, the potential specific inaccuracies. And then you have an all-encompassing other. And again, if it's inaccurate, please explain down here what made it inaccurate. Why was it inaccurate? And again, even if it's not redacted, you save the record, it's going to automatically remove it from the inbox because you completed the confirmation process. If you move the record over, this functionality is for both search assistant results and redaction requests in the initial function we went over earlier. If you moved a record or records over to this inbox, the pending confirmation inbox, too soon or you weren't ready to address them, you can move them back over to the pending redaction inbox really easy. You would simply, if there's multiple records in here, you can check off multiple records and you can just move them back to the pending redaction inbox if you need to for whatever reason. And then the batch add redaction data, same concept as the other batch add function. If there were multiple records listed here and you had the same results for all the records you checked off, you can do the batch add redaction data and it's going to apply whatever you enter here to all the records or all the search results that you checked off. So that's what that does. And again, once you confirm this record, whether it's redacted or not redacted, and it removes it from the inbox, it moves it over to this next inbox, the search results data status past 30 days. It will move it over here for 30 days, just in case you have to reference it in the near future. After 30 days, the record automatically drops from the inbox. However, it doesn't remove it from the system. If it's no longer available here for that, quick and easy access, you can still search for the record using the My Search Assistant query. This will search the system for any, search assistant confirmations that you performed in the past. And you can see here, there's a variety of ways to search for those records or you can just click go and just give yourself the full list. But if you need something just, very specific, use the search parameters to, find that specific record. Robert, back to you.
John, thanks very much. I appreciate all the training on our behalf, and I'm sure I speak for everybody signed on here. It's overwhelming, I know it, but please be patient, give it some time, and work with the system. And I think you'll find it to be fantastic. I would remind people that we do have resources posted on our webpage for redactors, so I welcome you to go there. Of course, we will post this training on there in a couple of days, I imagine. I do see a couple of questions in the chat, but since we've gone over time, I'd prefer to ask those individuals who raised those questions to please email the Redactor OIP inbox. I believe one of our staff posted that there, redactor.oip@dca.nj.gov. And I would make one more announcement. First, for those new redactors, I echo Director Campbell's comments. Thank you for your efforts. You truly are helping people and protecting people by performing your role. As for people who may be retiring or moving on from the position of redactor or beyond the agency, all we would ask is that you inform the OIP that you are moving on or that someone else is taking your place, or conversely for the new people that you're taking someone else's place, so that we have the most accurate and up-to-date information on our records. As Director Campbell also mentioned, and I believe John mentioned, our staff answers the phone more often than not. So anything you can do to keep our records current and up to date is appreciated. And with that, I will close the training today. I thank you for your attendance and I wish you a wonderful afternoon. Thanks, everyone.